super early, so it's good morning for me. For you, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you guys for tuning in to the channel once again. And here I am looking like Mr. Clean. My goodness, whatever. I got a big forehead, 5 head, whatever. So a lot of the last few videos have been Cricut videos because I did just get my Cricut maker. Today we're going back to the basics. We're going back to embroidery. I have a bunch of Etsy orders to get done today, like 10 Etsy orders to get done today, because it was snowing yesterday and nothing could ship, so everything's gonna ship today. I hope Keenan can make it out. I haven't had coffee yet, it's that early, but my mother-in-law was nice enough to stay again. Well, I guess she was kind of stuck because of the snow, but she spent the night, so she's already here, so I can come down as early as I wanted because childcare was already here, so it worked out. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my machines on and start making these embroidery designs, get things moving, because we do have the AJ blanks orders to finish and take to UPS and so on and so forth. So my sister is not here, she's moving, so I have to do AJ blanks and kids custom designs as well as my Etsy stuff today, so it's gonna be a busy day for me, but the earlier I start the better. Okay, 2 quick announcements. First announcement is that we are doing a $5 AJ Bucks giveaway at the end of every single video. In order to qualify, you need to make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell notification, give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below. That is it. Second announcement is that I am now offering one-on-one either business questions, or like if you have a question about machines, like people have asked like, oh, can you show me how to do this on the machine, can you show me how to do that on the machine, so I can do that as well. And you can find that on kidscustomdesigns.com in the business education tab, and you can schedule one-on-one time with me. It is a 30-minute slot session. I have a few availabilities a week, so you just check through there and then you check the calendar and schedule your appointment, and I will confirm it, so on and so forth. So those are available. I know you guys have so many questions you guys would like to ask, and yeah, so that's there. Now let's get back to the video. So to start my day, the first step in the entire process of making shirts is kind of having the design ready to go. So I'm going ahead and getting all the designs ready for at least the first few shirts so that I can start the machines up and get them running. So I use Brilliance Essentials. It's an embroidery software that can be used for PCs and Macs. It is linked in the description to this video. So I'll just go find the design I need, put the name, change any colors I need to change, and I go back and forth between Brilliance Essentials and Etsy just to double check spelling and everything. I do make sure my name stitch out first. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and finish making these designs that I need to make. So I just changed the colors that I need, and the font, you'll see I use the same font for almost every shirt. This is Stitchtopia Sarah. That's the font. I get that question all the time. So I purchased this font from stitchtopia.com. So I'm just resizing it, trying to make it fit nice and pretty. And I'd like to also move my letters together because sometimes they're not even lined up straight. So gotta move them together, resize them and such. When I'm done the designs, I save them all onto a USB flash drive. You can get any flash drive off Amazon. All my designs I save in .pes, and just now I was throwing away all my designs. I had 174 designs on that flash drive, so it was time to empty it out. So now I'm going to go ahead and hoop up all the shirts I need. It's 4 shirts I already designed, so I'm just going to go ahead and hoop them. So I just get the stabilizer. It's a cutaway stabilizer I get from All Stitch. It depends on you and your machines. I used to use tearaway, but now I use a cutaway stabilizer because the Melco machines are just so fast that they eat up the tearaway. So I use cutaway from allstitch.com. Also, the shirts I use are AJ Blanks shirts. They're great for embroidery, so if you're interested in any of those shirts, you can get them from the link in the description below. As you can see, they're like a girly fit shirt. They have the puffy sleeves and everything, so it helps with standing out on Etsy or wherever you're selling, having the cuter girl shirts. And they do go up to a size 14. So after I'm done hooping, I pull the shirt tight so that there's no wrinkles in it and that it stitches out a lot better like that. If you have it too loose, then you'll have issues with your stitching.
I do also keep the poly bag, that's a clear bag the shirts come in, because then you can just reuse that bag once you're done and ship it in that bag versus buying the bags off Amazon for like 10 cents a bag. So hey, every penny counts at this point in time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the shirts hooped up, and then I'm gonna load them all onto the machine. You guys also asked me how high do I like hoop the shirt so that you know that the design will be high enough. I make sure that the top of that backing holder is peeking out of the neckline. If you see it right where the neckline is, that you can see those little black words. If that's poking out, my design will be high enough.
So I get this question quite often, which is, what mighty hoops do I use the most? I use the 8x9 mighty hoop. I use for size 18-month t-shirts to like 10, 12. And then the next one I use the 7.25 by 7.25 inch mighty hoop for onesies. So I just want to answer those questions. Also, the other question I get, you guys ask me all the time, what is this? Like, what is it? Where do you get it? This is a backing holder from mightyhoop.com. It does not come with the mighty hoop. It is an additional purchase. That is what this is.
You do see me pulling on the hoops after I put them on the machine just to make sure that they're in all the way correctly, that they're actually snapped in. There's nothing like it's happened where I didn't snap it in all the way, then I hear click. So I just double check. And now I'm going to go ahead and check to make sure there's bobbin in the last two machines. And there isn't in this one. So I got to take the bobbin out and put a whole new bobbin in. I use the Magna Glide L-shaped bobbins. They're magnetic bobbins. And I have a link to them for Amazon, or you can get them from All Stitch as well. And those are for these multi-needle machines. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a trace on the Melco to make sure that the design fits in the hoop. It does have a hoop detection, so as long as I have the right hoop selected, it would not even do the trace, and it'll say hoop limit detected. That way you don't destroy your machine. That's a great feature of the Melcos. Now while that shirt is starting, I'm going to go ahead and open my other design that's going to go on the other Melco. So I'm going to load it onto the second machine, and I am going to go ahead and make sure all the colors are set for it so that I can go ahead and start working. The Melcos do run off of one computer, I mean. So one computer runs them both, so that is the screen. So you see me just adding the colors and just setting it up, and then I have to put in the applique stops so that the machine knows when to stop. And just like the other machine, I'm going to go ahead and do a trace. You always do a trace just to be sure. You don't want to mess anything up. So always trace your designs. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn on this machine and set up the mermaid. So this machine only had one color that this shirt required, so I have to go ahead and change all the thread colors. So I cut all the threads off, then replace the cones to the new threads. I use the tie off method, so you tie you tie a knot between both threads, and then you will pull it through. So I'm going to go ahead and put the stops in the machine so that I do not forget, because when you forget, it's the worst. So all the stops I put in, and I make sure I organize the colors. Now I need to go ahead and change all the threads, so I have to thread all the needles. So I turned the light off on the machine so it'd be easier to see. But sometimes threading these machines can be pretty difficult because you push the button to thread it and it somehow still doesn't go through. It happens quite often, but usually if you have a brand new needle, it's usually never a problem. But I don't know, it does it quite often, but you just have to pull it and do it all over again. Without this needle threader, I don't think I'd be able to do this. But changing the threads is easy, but sometimes when it doesn't work properly, it gets on your nerves. But hey, it's all part of the process. So the changing the needles or threading the needles is the same for this baby lock 6 needle, my brother's 6 needle, and the brother 10 needle. So it's all the same for these machines, for the white machines. So like I said, it's pretty simple. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish threading these needles. So the Melco does have, you just saw that it pulls out when it's done cutting or sewing so that you can cut the applique. It does have the pull out feature. It automatically does it when you put in the applique stop, so you don't have to take the shirt off the machines. But for certain designs, I still take it off because I just find it easier sometimes to just cut on a table where I could turn the shirt. It's just personal preference and habits. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut this applique out. A little tip that I do have is, you know the center of the numbers, you see where the 4 is? I cut a little slit in the fabric before I even put it down on the machine to embroider. So I line it up with the, little slit inside the 4. That way you don't have to try to dig your scissors into the shirt to cut it out, because you may cut a hole in your shirt. I've been there, done that 10,000 times. So try cutting the little hole in the fabric first before you put it down. So I'm gonna go ahead and try these new scissors. Well, no, I've used them already. They work great, but like sometimes you get into little spots. I couldn't do it. You know, my heart drops if I accidentally cut the shirt. So I'm just so used to these orange scissors that I still use them a lot. But I do like the other ones. I think it's just gonna take some getting used to. I just used these for 4 years, so it's like I know them like the back of my hand. I'm gonna go ahead and open the file on the Melco. It says Melco software, and you see all the colors. They're so beautiful. I'm gonna load the design to the machine, and right when you load it, it loads it in the last colors that were loaded on the design. That's why it totally changed the colors. You just clear it and you choose your active colors, and you click auto match, and it matches the colors for you. Sometimes you need to check to make sure if you change the thread cone, but see, look, it's there. And now I'm going ahead and going through all the stops. So I move up all the steps and it pops up in the color. And now I'm just putting in all the applique stops. So there's a hold option and an applique option. Applique will bring the whole hoop forward so you can trim on the machine, but hold will just stop the machine. So those are the options. I always choose applique anyways, because it's just easier to me to just put applique, because that's what it is. So I just put in all the stops until the first satin stitch, and that is it. And then I'll just go ahead and start the machine.
Okay guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Today's post notification shout out and $5 AJ Books winner is Carmen Valentine. Thank you. I've been seeing all your comments on the videos. Thanks so much for all your support. Make sure you email make sure you email info.ajblanks@gmail.com so you can claim your $5 AJ Bucks. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!